What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's pandemic update video for Sunday, February 19th, 2023. So far today, I have not added any new COVID positives to the website or any new COVID outbreaks, simply because I have not found any new ones. So that's some good news. Hopefully that stays on course, but as you know, sooner or later, we eventually will find a positive or a new outbreak. Alright, this I found interesting today. Multi-organ effects common after COVID. So basically, 500 people did a follow-up 1 year post-COVID. Out of that 500 people, more than half of them still had either some symptoms or some organ impairment, such as breathlessness, cognitive dysfunction, poor health-related quality of life. And as we come down here, it says a total of 536 individuals were studied with an average age of 45 years old. They were 73% female, 89% white, and 32% healthcare workers, and 13% had acute COVID-19 hospitalizations. Of those 331, 62% showed organ impairment or incidental findings and had a follow-up. Extreme breathlessness, between 38 and 30%, cognitive dysfunction between 48 and 38%, poor health related quality of life 57% and 45% were common at 6 and 12 months. These symptoms were associated with the female gender, younger age, and single organ impairment. So it sounds like this was mainly a female study. But that's interesting. That many individuals found that they still had organ impairment a year after COVID. Alright, this I also found really interesting. DC schools are going to require tests to return after their February break. So they do a break in February down in DC, and there's going to be testing required. So that's a good thing. That's going to help limit the number of cases. Hopefully people do it the right way. PCR testing's best, but as we know, most people will probably opt for the rapid test. Either way, any testing is better than no testing at all. And with that, I thought it would be a good time to tell you when is the right time to get tested. So here on the CDC page, they say when to get tested for COVID. We'll go by what they say, and I'm going to add some of my own suggestions in. Of course, if you have symptoms for COVID, always get tested immediately. Second of all, if you were exposed to COVID-19 and do not have symptoms, wait at least 5 full days after your exposure before testing. That's what the CDC says. And they say if you test too early, you may be more likely to get an inaccurate result. I understand, yes, you should wait 5 full days. I would take it a step further. I would test about the end of the second day and into the third day out. I would test it the third day out and then test again at 5 days. So you could do your first test as a at-home test, and then on the 5th day or whenever you choose to do it, get the PCR test. Don't just rely on those at-home tests. Also get a follow-up PCR test. Now, if you are in a certain high-risk setting, you may need to test as part of a screening testing program. Say, maybe just on the regular, just to check that you don't have COVID. And if you do, you can catch it immediately and you can get an antiviral going, such as Paxlovid or something in that category. Consider testing before contact with someone at high risk for severe COVID-19, especially if you are in an area with a medium or high COVID-19 community level. This is a very good thing. So if you're going to visit an elderly resident or someone who's immune compromised, hey, continue testing beforehand. And like, for example, at Christmas time, I was at a very small get-together with some family members. It was under 10 people. We all tested first. We were all negative. And I would also add, if you are sick and having, CDC's not saying this here, if you are sick and having symptoms such as, here's the symptoms of COVID: fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle, body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, diarrhea, headaches. If you have a headache combined with any one of these and you've tested negative once, test again. If not, 3 more times. I would test multiple times to make sure it's not COVID. But I would space it out. So do initial test the first day you're feeling sick from these symptoms. Maybe again on the second day, third, fourth, or if you want to do it on the first day, skip a day and then do it again, something like that. Or if you're really ambitious and you have a lot of tests on hand, do it each day. But mind you, if the first time's negative on the rapid, get that PCR. You can do another rapid, that's fine, but make sure you're doing make sure you're doing a PCR. And if you do test positive on a rapid, get that follow-up PCR because that needs to be reported to the health department so we can count your case and try and get a more accurate number. Although at this point in the ball game, yeah, that ship has sailed. All right, take a look at the CDC Community Transmission Map. As we've been saying, I mean, there's still far too many counties in this country that are at high transmission. High transmission makes up 1,878 counties. Substantial is 713, but if you do the math, substantial or greater, that's really 2,500 if you include the high. Moderate, that's 463 counties. Low, that's 168 counties. Latest variance. XBB15 is at 80.2%. BQ 1.1 is at 12.1%. BQ.1 is at 3.7%. XBB is at 1.5%. And CH 1.1 is at 1.2%. Taking a look at the Walgreens dashboard here. Let's refresh this. And the Walgreens dashboard today shows 32.3% positivity across the country. Prior week is 33.2%. That's a negative difference. That's a drop of 0.8%, combined with testing being down. 20,485 tests this week, 24,459 last week. That's nearly a 4,000 drop. Let's take a look at a few states. Maine, 27.9% this week. That's a drop of 13%. Vermont, 28.6% this week. They were starting to drop, and I know it still says up here, but quite frankly, they are probably going to start going back up again soon because it's already leveling off. So 28.6% this week, 5.5% difference from last week, up again, and that's probably going to continue to go up again within the coming days. Taking a look here at Massachusetts, 40.3% this week, 35.3% last week, difference of 4.9%. New York State, check this out. New York State is starting to rise. Remember yesterday on the New York State dashboard, we had a little bit of a higher than normal amount of cases, so there you go. Walgreens is starting to rise. But as you'll see when we get to New York State, the cases today are significantly lower than yesterday, which is normal for a Sunday. 42.1% this week, 40.1% last week. That's a 2% rise. Let's take a look at Oklahoma. 30% this week, 21.6% last week, 8.4%, but I think they are starting to max out, at least for this go-around, and it may fall afterwards. Louisiana, 29.7% this week, 28.2% last week. That's a difference of 1.6%. And let's end it on California. California, 36.1% this week, 33.5% last week. Difference of 2.5%. All right, New York State, way less cases today. 1,696 cases today, and this is an interesting thing. The positivity rate today is 4%, which is actually lower than the 7-day average of 4.4%, despite having much less cases today. Yesterday had twice as many cases. Taking a look at the hospitalizations in New York State, 2,107 people in the hospital, with 232 people in the ICU. And let's just look at Texas real quickly. Nothing has changed with Texas, but I'll give you an update. 9,346 positive cases on the most recent update, and their hospitalizations still sit at 1,782. Taking a look at deaths, as you know, I reported yesterday, 2,862 deaths this week, and we can actually add 7 more to that. So now it's 2,869 deaths this week. Alrighty, not really much update in the way of the international level, because it's the weekend, and weekend reporting is terrible, but that's all I have for you today. So remember, if you're going to be around someone who's high risk, if you've had potential contact, if you're having symptoms of COVID-19, get tested. Take the at-home test and get a follow-up PCR test. Alrighty, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this video. If you enjoy the content I do on my channel, hit the like and subscribe button down below. I hope this was very educational for you, and I hope my videos are helpful to you. Stay safe, everyone. See you again next time.